Hello, hello, it's Judy again, in a daft mood. Okay, so today is the topic of insecurity is the holy grail of toxic people. What I mean by that is that most of the time, toxic people are led by their insecurities and they toxic because of their insecurities. And this toxicity is literally just like a defense mechanism. So they protect their insecurities. So, for example, there can be many different types of insecurities, such as like the most common that mainly most of the other kind of subtypes of insecurities boil down to is low self-worth. So you feel inadequate in yourself. It could be body image insecurities. You're not happy how you look physically. Financial insecurity. You're not happy, you know, how much money you earn and you want a status and all this. But this is all distraction anyway. You shouldn't seek external validation. It's all within you, not how other people think. You'll never find happiness if you seek external validation. So status is one of them. Fear of rejection is big one. As children, we are faced with these situations where we get rejected by our parents or by other kids, because kids can be cruel. So most of these insecurities actually develop during childhood. We're like a sponge, until we're 7 years old. Our brain is like a sponge that absorbs all the juices, all the greasiness of life. And that includes, things like traumas. You take it personally. You don't think when the trauma happens that your parents are just not, they don't know any better how to behave. You take it personally. Oh, they rejected me because I'm not good enough, So fear of rejection is a big insecurity. Lack of confidence as well. I feel like if you have parents that always try to, make comments about your appearance. I have some Indian friends, actually, and this girl told me that, like, she developed this trauma from her mother because they have to dress a certain way, cover themselves and, like, maybe hide the hair or something. And she wanted to dress this dress, she was trying it on in a shop. And it was quite like revealing, but not too much, not for Western standards anyway, but like for Indian standards, I feel like there's a different story. So her mother came and said, how you gonna do this? How you gonna walk with this dress? You're gonna be like a slut and all this shit, like. And she developed this trauma because she wanted to express herself and wear what she wanted. And her mother put her down like this, because it's cultural. So my storage ran out, so yeah, being organized, running out of storage, but I'm back. So anyways, yeah, so this girl, and she developed insecurity, because of her mother treating her like that. And I feel like now she was telling me that, like, if she's dating and a guy starts to make comments about her, what she's dressing, she just like withdraws, because that's controlling, and she just like completely rejects it. So she's hypersensitive towards that. So yeah, basically this is just a brief sort of description of insecurities. Perfectionism is a big one as well. You try to be perfect, but it's like really it slows down your progress because it's all or nothing, situation. And that's not how we learn. We have to fail and we have to be bad at the beginning to get somewhere. So perfectionism is a killer, but that's as well an insecurity. um Fear of failure, I don't know, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but yeah, like that goes hand in hand with perfectionism. Attachment insecurity is a big one. So if you got attachment injuries in your childhood, and um, your parent reject you or something, and you were attached, you've learned that it's not good to be attached to someone, so you would avoid attachment or like commitment, in relationships or something, because you've been hurt before when you attached yourself, and you don't want to do the same mistake again, right. So yeah, that's just like a few insecurities, but my main point is that basically toxic people have these insecurities, and they're trying to hide it, or not hide it, but like develop defense mechanisms to protect these traumas, because insecurity is really a trauma response. Your low self-worth is because of something happened, because you've been belittled as a child or something, or rejected, and you develop low self-worth because you think that's your fault, but really it's your parents didn't know any better, and they just unconsciously carrying that trauma from their life into yours. So that's why we need to heal our traumas and break this cycle, because most people just live unconsciously, and they don't realize that their traumas actually run their lives, and they think, oh, life happens to me, I'm just a victim. And it's like, no, you're not, you're creating it. You attract people to resolve these traumas. You will relive this trauma and that emotion over and over again with different people, with different situations, but kind of the same situations, if you know what I mean. But like, you'll relive it until it's resolved. You need to solve this puzzle in yourself. But most people live unconsciously, and they just run on autopilot, and they will never know. They'll just blame external circumstances rather than look into themselves. So toxic people, develop these defense mechanisms for their insecurities, and these are include, like, controlling behavior, manipulation, abusive, could be emotional abuse, could be physical abuse. um yeah, these are the main ones that sort of protect their insecurities. So controlling behavior, they want to control you because they have so low self-worth, basically. So this controlling gives them it uplifts their worth. It's like, it's very twisted, but it's like, oh, I've got it under my thumb, I've got this person in my control, so I feel bigger than them. So they're like, look at you from the above, and it's like, oh yeah, my self-worth is better now because I'm stepping on someone. I'm stepping on someone to increase my self-worth, which is toxic way of dealing with your low self-worth. You should go within and sort your low self-worth within yourself. um, so hurt people hurt. That's just like pattern continues. Yeah, the same with manipulation. They want something out of you, so they manipulate. So it's still, manipulation is a form of control, because ultimately they want to control what you do for them or what they can gain. So it's also like a control thing. Abusive, mentally or physically abusive, it's like a fuel. It's like a fuel for them. If they step on you, if they belittle you, they then get their worth boost. um and this is pretty much, that's it. This is all the toxic people, and that's why they are like that, but they don't know themselves, they run it. Well, some of the people know, I feel, and they know and consciously do it anyway, because it's hard to improve yourself and be a better person. It's better to blame some other people, blame your parents that this happened to you, be a victim. They love to be victims as well. Victim is like a very comforting thing. It's very addictive to be a victim, because then you get this compassion. Everyone looks at you and say, oh, look, I'm a victim, I've been so mistreated, oh my goodness. So like there's reasons why people do things, and toxic people is just mainly insecurity. And once you learn to like notice people's insecurities and how they react, because usually when their insecurity gets triggered, and I'm not saying just toxic people have insecurities, like not toxic people also have insecurities, but they don't react in their defense mechanism is not step on other people. They might get angry, like if you have an insecurity and someone triggers your insecurity, you'll get mad. I used to do that. I would get fuming mad and I would unleash on something, someone, because I was like, they triggered my insecurity, and I was just like, I hate it. So people get hyper sensitive about it, and you can pick on these insecurities as you go along, and it will make more sense, why people behave the way they behave, pretty much. Yeah. Well, that was a TED talk, my Judy's TED talk for today, and I think I'll finish it now. And thank you for watching, and see you next time.